Hey, hey everyone. I hope that you are all doing well. I thought that I would go live this evening. Um, I need to invite. I'm not sure if my daughter is on here because that's going to be my special guest tonight. And here's what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about um, becoming authentically you, but why it's important for you to become you. So let me see if she is on here. Hold on a second. Are you on? Sorry, you guys. I'm doing this off of here, off of my thing here. So let's see. Um, Let me see if I can invite her. Okay, I'm getting ready to invite her. I don't know why I just don't do it automatically, but let me let me send this to her. This is kind of weird that it don't just pop up. Um, Give me a minute. Well, while we're waiting, I want to say thanks for joining. If you are on, if you aren't, we're just going to be talking anyway. Hey, so you are on. Okay. Um, I don't know if I can hear you. No, it's not you. It's me. It's not. Okay, there you go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, girl.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me, baby.
My pleasure.
All right. So, I wanted to say thanks for joining, and I just want to have a conversation. This is a long overdue conversation
Yeah.
on from Ruby's daughter about what Ruby's daughter is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so for you guys who don't know, I'm Michelle Hardy, and I am the CEO and founder of Ruby's Daughter. What is Ruby's Daughter? Ruby's Daughter is a safe space and place for you to heal, grow, prosper, and develop into your authentic self,
Yes.
into that destined purpose
Yes.
and design that God has always intended and created for
Mm-hmm.
you to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, uh, let me say it this way, either you are in transformation, you might be being nudged about transformation, or you
Yes.
might be in full fledged. I'm in there. Like, I can't
Yeah.
see myself going back. You
Yeah.
you you at one of those phases. So Ruby's Daughter is a safe place, again, for you to heal, to grow, develop, and to become authentically yourself, that self that God has always destined you to be. Most of us don't operate there because
Mm.
to get to your destined destiny, you have to uncover some of the hurt
Yes.
and have to heal from some of the places by which we've been traumatized. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for the sake of time, I want to say thank you to my daughter. This is my daughter, Yolanda Hannah. I want to say thank
Hello.
you
Hi.
for joining Mom today. And
Absolutely.
we have such wonderful
We
conversations.
do.
I need
We
to do one with all of us girls,
absolutely.
because I have three girls,
Yes.
and it is wonderful to hear the perspective of all three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and their development and their growth on them becoming their authentic selves.
Absolutely.
I want to start because what prompted me to have this, let me see, can I add, oh, it does allow you. I'm using this new thing, you guys, and I'm using Restream, and I'm not really familiar with Restream, but Restream allows you to be on all of your platforms. So
On time.
While I'm streaming on Facebook, I'm streaming on Instagram, and I'm streaming on YouTube. So I like it because I don't have to be splicing and dicing. I'm just not going to be able to do that right now. It just takes too much. It's a lot. Um, I'm already scuffling, you guys. That's why I don't get out here as often as I should, is because yeah, I hired a person. I'm happy about that. Okay. I'm, I'm going to share my screen because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this definition. So let me share. Okay. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I had never seen this in the Bible. So before I even get into um, this scripture, I want to talk to this audience about, I'm not here to try to change your mind on who you believe in. I'm not here to argue with you about religious philosophy and or spirituality. That belongs to you. Whatever that looks like for you, it's going to belong to you. If you told me, Michelle, I believe in the doorknobs, that's cool. If the doorknobs is getting you where it is that you need to be, I'm cool with that. That has no bearing on me. But what I am saying is that the God that I serve, um, is a God that leads me to my destination. And I'm hoping and praying that whoever you're serving or whoever you believe in, or if you don't believe, that it is getting you to where it is that you are destined to be.
Yes.
Because I do not believe for any reason or for any purpose. And as a matter of fact, I know that we were not created just for ourselves.
Yeah.
We were created for a much larger purpose. And
Absolutely.
that purpose is to serve. We're going to talk about that again, maybe tomorrow, about serving. Today, we're going to talk about becoming.
I was going to say, click the 2 arrows at the bottom there.
What 2 arrows?
On your camera.
Right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There
So,
we go.
oh, y'all didn't want to see all my other stuff. Okay, whatever. But this is about you becoming. You since God created, and I believe in God, since God created his ecosystem, he created each and every one of us with a plan and a purpose. Your plan and your purpose is your destined is your destined um is your destined, if you were to call it a job, it's not a job, it's your purpose, it's your destined purpose. You were created by God for a specific purpose. If you are a twin, you are still very different from your twin. If we were to do the fingerprints, your fingerprints would still be very different. I have known my purpose in life since I was a little girl. My daughter, who's on here with me today, I've known her purpose since she was a little girl, because she's always demonstrated something in the capacity of her purpose. And I'll let her tell you who she is. But I want us to get a good definition of why it is important for you to become. It's important for you to become because that's what you were created to do. It is your unique gift to God. It is God's unique gift to you. It is your unique gift to your circle, your family, your friends, your community, your world. When you become who it is that God has always destined you to be, you help this world become lighter, brighter. You're giving your gifting. Not only has God given you the gift so that you can unlock it, once you unlock your gift, when you start to become the person who God has destined you to be, you unlock someone else. And I think I told a friend this some time ago. I always have had this picture or this thing in my head that I see myself putting a key in the door. And as I turn the key says click, 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 click. Because I've unlocked myself, I can now unlock those that are around me. Those around me unlock someone else, and it's just a cycle. That's a good cycle to have repeated. You continually becoming who you were destined to be. So, with that said, I want to start with the word become. As this group is called Becoming Authentically You, I want to start with that word. It is important that you become your authentic self. You cannot get to anything that you have been destined to have. You may hit things, hit or miss as they call it, but to be who God truly intended you to be, you have to become the person that you were intended to be. It took me a very long time to realize that who I was is definitely not who I am today. Who I am today is the person that God is challenging me or asking me to become the better version so that I can be of use and of service to God's kingdom, to God, his kingdom, and those that are around me. I think tomorrow we'll talk about serving, because if you are not serving God's people, if you are not helping them, if you're not helping God's people with a problem, then you're on the wrong path. Everything that God has created us for was to serve and to give back. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay. So become your authentic self. I, I, I'm I'm gonna tell my age. I'm 59 years old, and this is the first time I have ever seen this in God's word. This comes out of the Amplified version. It says Philippians 2:8 Amplified Bible. After he was found in terms of his outward appearance as a man, for a divinely appointed time, he humbled himself still further by becoming obedient to the Father, to the point of death, even death on a cross. You have to die to yourself. You have that appearance, that outward, that mask, that thing that you got. You have to let it go, because if you don't, you will never become. We'll now go into the definition. To become into existence, to come to be, to undergo change or development, to be suitable to. God is one of the most profound beings, God is who he says he is. And he already knew, and he's such a wordsmith, that you would have to come into existence, that you couldn't bring yourself as you are today to do what it is that he's called you to do. You have to come to be. You have to undergo a change. It has to be developed, and you have to be suitable to be used. Okay, I'm going to stop with the definition right there. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to go back over here and we're going to talk about becoming, because we have these conversations at home all the time.
We do.
It's not a secret.
No.
And my kids know that you had to be you.
Absolutely. I'll speak more on that.
Okay. So just in case, I'll let her introduce herself. That's my baby, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hey everyone. Of course, this is my mother. My name is Yolanda. I am the eldest of her girls. I'm an educator, current doctoral student. living life to the fullest, and here to share aspects of me becoming me and what that looked like and what it continues to roll into. For me personally, I don't think I'm at a place in my own journey where I am learning something new about myself daily. So a little background story for me. As I said, I'm the eldest. I'm also a traumatic brain injury survivor. I'm an educator. I love teaching, and I also love learning. Part of me becoming me, whew, um, happened. Oh, it's been over 10 years now, maybe even longer than that.
Yeah, maybe about 12, 13
About
years. Yeah.
12, possibly. Um, Me becoming me started in college, learning who I was, learning me, Yolanda. It started
But now,
as
when you
mhm.
say in college, they're probably thinking, well, yeah, you went to college, you learned. No, it's not
No,
that.
no, it was a little bit,
It's different.
deeper than that. I did go to college. Of course, you get to college, you are independently no mom, no dad, and you are learning you. It's your chance to be independently you, figure yourself out. And so I found myself specifically at a point in time uh many years ago where it happened. It happened. I'm not gonna say suddenly. When I say I knew it was coming. Um, God and I were going through a
Child.
tussle. I'll say
She
that.
called it a
Uh,
tussle, y'all.
a tussle. And it was more so myself tussling. It really wasn't God tussling with me. It was me tussling with God about where I was going and what I was seeing in my life. I remember the week that I got sick, I had actually that week had gone and talked to my college counselor. I was attempting to apply for an education program. I was excited. I was like, oh, I'm my grades are there. Everything is great. And I remember in this conversation, she essentially hinted toward like I wasn't going to get in. And I remember leaving that conversation feeling defeated, feeling down. On top of, I was also going through a breakup and I was trying to figure out what was happening with my boyfriend at the time, and I was confused. I didn't know what was happening, but I knew there was something internally in my spirit that told me that there was a shift. There was something that was about to take place.
Mm.
I didn't know what that shift was. I didn't know what that looked like. I don't know if I've ever really shared this with many people, but I was struggling. And I at that moment had challenged God. I knew I wasn't going to take my own life because I'm too scary for all of that. But I had challenged God, and I was like, you know what, God, at this point in time, I'm not seeing the point. I'm not seeing the point in life. I'm not seeing the point. You're not allowing things to happen how I want them to happen. And so, what's the point? What is the point of me being here? And I actually ended up getting sick, where when I woke up, oh, what was that?
Well,
19 days? Oh, go ahead.
let me talk about
Yeah,
how it is incredibly hard.
yeah.
First of all, let's talk about becoming and
Okay.
how you become.
Oh,
Because when you become, it
yeah.
is not some
It's not an
through
easy,
trauma
yeah,
that you become
yeah,
the other person.
absolutely.
It's not that I just decided one day I'm gonna wake up, and
And
maybe for
change.
some it is, maybe for
For
some it
some,
is, but for most people that I've talked to and experienced,
mm-hmm.
you become
Yeah,
after you done gone through some sort of
yes,
traumatic something.
absolutely.
It's
Yes,
something that rocks you so hard
yeah,
that you be like, oh, come
mm-hmm.
on through.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this, not another moment.
Yeah,
So that's usually how you become.
Yes.
That's usually when you become a willing participant, because you're not
Yes.
willing before.
No.
If God was, I have this analogy where I say
Mm-hmm.
this: God shows you a frame, just like we're in this framework right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're talking about becoming, and He shows you the beginning, and He shows you
Parts
the
of the end.
he shows you the final. This
Yeah.
is where you are now,
Yeah.
and this is where you're going to be.
Yes.
And you be looking like, oh, okay,
And
I,
I'll even say,
oh,
God,
I receive it.
I'll even say in some aspects of my own personal journey, God has given me glimpses of specific things.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I can even speak to my own situation and getting sick. I don't know if you all believe in near death experiences, but that I did go through and I did experience. And so sometimes we are thinking God will reveal things to you sometimes, and I don't know how God reveals things to you, but there are certain times where there's different snippets, where there's times in dreams, there's times,
Mm-hmm,
you just
mm-hmm.
get certain things, and um you can hold on to that. I'll speak again for my own personal self. I remember God revealing something to me, and I remember, like, this is exactly how it's going to turn out. It's going to be exactly like this. And and because God is, he cannot be fit into a box, and he
Come
cannot
on.
be understood. He is
Mm-mm,
not like us.
mm-mm,
Um, he'll
mm-mm,
throw you curveballs and allow you to see that you cannot fit me in a box. I
mm-mm.
cannot be understood.
Come on.
I might have shown you something. However, I am also continuing to, write visions and change things, because at the end of the day, I believe for myself, God sees what you can and will become, right? He knows what is detrimental to you. He knows you in and out. He knows you better than you know yourself. And he knows the things that'll get in your way and will
Mm-hmm.
stop you from pursuing who he is,
Yep,
who he's called you to be. And so,
yep.
just speaking along those terms, there were a lot of things that I saw that I thought, oh yeah, this is exactly how it's going to pan out. And
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, thank God, some of those things did not pan out the way that I had it fixed in my
So,
own mind.
as you were talking,
Hmm.
He does give you,
He does.
He gives you the good. He gives you the good glimpses.
Sometimes if
Sometimes,
you,
if you
if
real in
sometimes,
tune, He'll get, if you can handle it.
mhm,
If you
he'll
can
give you,
handle it, He'll show you. No,
that's not for you.
that ain't for you. But usually, for
Hmm.
me, I get the good glimpses, which
Hmm.
means I get the beginning and I get the end, because I'm a pest. God knows I'm a pest. I be pesting Him every day about when. But I thought you said this was gonna happen today.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, I didn't tell you, but you said. Mm-mm.
Yes.
So He gives me the beginning and He gives me the end.
Oh, that
I
was,
I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
if He showed you the
He
in
does.
between,
You
you
would
would
you
look
would
at God and say,
pause.
"No, hold up.
No, you didn't
You
tell
got
me
me
all of
twisted.
this.
You got me
Yes.
twisted. You got
Yes.
me twisted."
Yes.
I know you don't think I'm getting ready to
Yes.
go through that. No, I'm gonna take the
Yes.
100. I'm gonna sit on down,
Yes.
and you
Hmm.
can have all the rest of that, because
Yeah.
I'm not going through none of that.
But you know what? I've had to understand that if he showed you all of that, if you
Mm,
got
mm.
every glimpse of what was going to happen and how it was going to transpire, a lot
Mhm.
of us would give up and we would quit before we even
Ooh,
got
yes, we
started.
would. Yes, we
If
would.
God would have showed me,
Oh,
Yolanda, I'm going to grow you up, I'm going to develop you, and then at this point in your story,
I'm gonna
you're
tear
going
you
to get
down
sick. you are going to
all the
you
way.
are going to have to restart. And when I say restart, again, I'll give you specifics of my experience. I went from, at the time, I was 23 in college. I was reading, writing, learning, to dealing with a traumatic
Baby.
brain injury, which it which took me where at the time I had lost vision in my right eye. So I was partially blind at the time. I
Child.
went from reading and writing to not being able to read. I couldn't understand letters and I couldn't write. And so, again, if God would have showed me all of that in my
Mm,
story,
mm.
I 9 times out of 10, I probably would have opted out and said, "Well, you can choose
I
somebody
ain't gonna
else.
be able to do it. You choose
that's
somebody else
that's
for
not
them.
for me. I want
Hmm.
to do something different."
Yeah.
But when I tell you right now, becoming who I am
Hmm.
has
Come on, baby.
daily I am finding out something new about myself. I'm
Yes.
finding the strength, the courage to show up for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Anybody that knew me prior to, I was very quiet,
Oh my
very
God.
docile, did not really say much. Somebody could make me mad, and I would just be like,
She will hold it in, and
I
I
would
promise y'all that
and
is
it
not the
was
household she
yeah,
came
it's
from.
and it's not healthy. And so
No,
I
it's
didn't
not.
express anger, I didn't express
Yeah.
grief, I didn't express frustration. And
Hmm.
so it took me some time to do that. So again, in my journey of learning to become authentically me, I had to
Hmm.
learn to accept all aspects of me. And the first thing I had to learn to do was to love me when I did not look
Come on.
and feel like myself.
Yes. Yes.
Getting sick meant that what was what was funny, I remember waking up and of course dealing with a brain injury. They have to shave your hair off. And so I remember having to learn to love at the time the no hair Yolanda. I
Hmm.
had to learn to love
Hmm.
because nobody's coming in the hospital to give you no eyebrow waxing and put no makeup
Yeah.
on you. So I had to learn to love me. I had to learn to love who I was. And this is God. It was lonely because when you're going through transformation, when you're becoming who you are, people like to think that this is, oh, I get to bring everybody with me. You
Mm,
don't.
you don't.
When you
The
are
gym.
getting
The
to know
gym.
you,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
The gyms are
Mhm.
are underneath the pain.
Yes.
You ain't got to them yet.
No.
You
Mhm.
just holding on by a
Mhm.
thread because
Mhm.
I don't even know what done happened here.
No.
Okay.
No. And so I even remember, thinking, great, it was because I had to again learn me, learn who I was, learn my own thoughts, what it felt like to sit with me. A lot of us don't like to sit by ourselves. We don't like to hear our own thoughts. And so that journey was one of which, yes, I had people who, were my friends and they were being supportive, but that journey, that a spiritual journey I had to go through by
Hmm.
myself. I had to
Hmm.
learn who I was, which has helped me to continue to develop into the woman I am currently. This
So
experience, had I not gone through it, I wouldn't have get on get on here and talk about what I wouldn't have known who I was.
so one we've already identified is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we talked about early on to come into existence. Like
Yes.
you had to come into existence
Yeah.
to come to be. That's
Mm-hmm.
where we are. We're
Mm-hmm.
coming to be. We're undergoing change. And let's talk about becoming, because becoming is not something that happens
No.
once.
No.
Like this is a lifetime
It is.
journey.
It is.
This is a
It
lifetime
is.
journey. This
Yeah.
this this is something that
Yeah.
once you get a glimpse, let
Yeah.
me say this, once you get a glimpse and a hint and a sniff of where you going,
Oh gosh.
I
It's a
promise
rush.
you don't even look back. You be
No.
like, back for
No.
what? There is
No.
nothing back
No.
there. I don't even know what happened back there, but check this
Yeah.
out. I'm not going to be able to go back
Yeah.
that way at all
No.
because
Yeah.
there's nothing back there for me. But
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna say, I would be remiss in saying if that one, that this journey is easy, because it's
No.
not.
Mm-mm.
Two, that it's a sacrifice.
It is.
It's a huge sacrifice.
It
There's so
is.
many things that you sacrifice along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
you sacrifice that old you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be bothered with that, no way. Once you
No.
get to,
No.
you see the glimpse of
Yeah.
who you're becoming
Yeah.
and why you're becoming that way.
Yes. Yes.
You don't want nothing to do with that old self, because that
Mhm.
old self was, you'd be
Yeah.
like, who in the world? I wouldn't know me back then if that was
Yeah.
me. That was me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
scary. But you get to see who God has created and fashioned you to be. And it's
Absolutely.
such a refreshing place.
Yes.
Like everything that you've ever wanted. Can you say this? Like everything that you've ever wanted is
Mm-hmm.
in who you're becoming and where you're going.
Yes.
It's that
Yeah.
it's peaceful.
It is. When you learn to become peaceful with it, when you learn to
Yeah,
accept that you are developing, I think it becomes peaceful.
because
That's
at
not that's not
first
to
is
that's not
that's
to
not how
say
it happens at first. Because
no,
at first
no.
you're at
Oh yeah.
war. You're at
There
war with yourself.
oh there
You're
was a
at
lot of
war with
warring.
God.
Yeah.
You at war with the people around
There
you.
was a lot of warring, and I'll
Yeah,
speak to my own,
yeah.
because I didn't understand it. Why can't this individual go with me, or why can't this be this? And I think again, I would have lost. Again, first of all, sometimes we start giving credit to things and people that shouldn't be receiving the credit.
That's
And
it.
so I believe wholeheartedly, like you need to get to know
Hmm.
you as you walk on this journey so you can
Hmm.
understand who is holding and keeping you together, because sometimes again we'll start giving credit to things, to people,
Yes,
and again there
yes,
you go back in that cycle
yes,
of losing yourself
yes,
to
yes.
what you just came out of. And
And
I had to learn that. Yeah.
all of this is about you unraveling,
Yeah. All of that.
becoming authentically you.
Hmm.
You doing things that make more sense to you. You
Absolutely.
understand why you're doing them, not
Yes.
because you were taught to do them,
No.
but why do I do that?
Yeah.
To
And
some
sometimes
question.
right, becoming you is unraveling that
Oh, it
there are some
is.
things that were
Yeah.
passed down to you
Oh my God.
that you are
Yes.
no longer conducive to your
Yes.
journey. When you
Yes.
learn you get to decipher,
Yes.
is that truly what I believe
That's right.
in in my life right now? Is that
Yes.
fitting for who I am? Is
Hmm.
that fitting for the journey that I'm on? Sometimes, truthfully, we pick up on other
Hmm.
people's issues. We
Hmm.
take them, we hold them,
Hmm.
we hold on to old ideas that no
Hmm.
longer serve us,
Ideologies. That's right.
because
That's right.
guess what? It was something that was passed on to you. You don't even know.
Hmm.
Mom and I talk about this all the time. You don't even know why you believe that.
You
Somebody
don't.
told you, somebody told you that, and you never sat down and you never thought to get to why it is that you believe that. And so I believe personally for myself, me
Yes.
getting sick was a part of me getting to who I was. And so I'll speak a little bit to, so there was that process. And again, there were some things I remember thinking like, oh, all these people gonna be able to, we're gonna get back and we're gonna do how we
But
did
none of
before.
that was
And God was like, absolutely not. I have something else for you.
it.
I have something
Oh
else
my
for you to do.
gosh.
I remember after recovering on this journey, I returned back to school, and I was, at this point I had um, I started reading, and I pushed myself, and I said, once I finished Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun, I was like, once I'm done with this book, I'm going back to school. It took me some time, but I finished it, and I went and said, Mom, okay, I'm ready now. I'm going back. And she was like,
Can you
already?
imagine? So let me give
Already?
you a little backstory, because she hit upon it, but
Yeah,
she is a traumatic brain injury survivor.
I
She
am.
was down for the count. She coded a couple times, Lord forbid.
I was gonna say, yeah, coded 3 times. Yes.
It was
Mhm.
not what we expected.
No.
But even in what I didn't expect,
Mhm.
God was still gracious
Yes.
enough
Yes.
to
Mhm. Yes.
give me insight into
Mhm.
what he was doing.
Mhm.
I remember that I was supposed to teach a Bible study class,
Mhm.
and I came home and I was sick. My sinuses, which I still suffer from today, was kicking my butt. I had taken some Sudafed. That's when the
Mm.
Sudafed was real. You take them Sudafed, you going straight to bed. And he said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna need to get some rest. You're gonna need it." I didn't pay no attention. I'm thinking he's saying I'm gonna need it because it's Bible study. I'm gonna be teaching, yada yada yada. I didn't understand what he was telling me.
Mm.
Well,
Mm.
I heard my
Mm.
youngest daughter and my middle daughter, I should say, in the back, and she
Mhm.
was hollering about something. I said, "What is this child back here hollering on this phone for?" And I heard her saying, "Lady, I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Sasha, yeah, some lady keeps calling here, and I don't know what she's talking about." I said, "Well, the next time she calls, you just give me the phone, okay, baby? Just give me the phone."
Mm.
And she called, and that was the nurse from the hospital to tell me that Yolanda had passed out on a friend's bathroom in the
Yeah.
floor,
Yeah.
and that she had what did she say? What did she say to me?
Mm.
She said that you had
Mm.
she didn't say a head injury. She
Mm.
said a head something. And I said, okay, well, you're gonna have to give me the definition. As y'all see, I start with definitions. So I didn't know exactly what it was she was trying to
Mm.
communicate to me because I wasn't
Mhm.
getting it.
Mhm.
I said, well, one, is it something like she was in an accident, she bumped her head and she on her way? Or no, two, is it something like an aneurysm or something? She said,
Mhm.
no, it's something like an aneurysm. I said,
Mhm.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
God, even in his infinite wisdom,
Yeah.
was still gracious enough to tell me
Yeah.
his plan. He didn't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said to me, I said to God, okay, now I don't know what this is all about. And this is big. I don't know what this is about,
Yeah.
but you're going to have to help me with this one.
Yeah.
He said, well, don't worry. She's going to be all right. But what I need for you to have is faith.
Mhm. Mhm.
I need you to do everything I ask you to do.
Yeah.
Even if you don't understand it, I need you to do
Mhm.
it. And I thought,
Mhm.
even then, he was gracious enough to give me a glimpse.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
in the terms of becoming,
Yeah.
as I look back,
Yeah.
he was prepping her
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
and me
Yeah.
way back then.
Absolutely.
So becoming authentically you
Yes.
is not something that just starts.
It doesn't.
Once you get into the swing of things,
Yeah.
and once you get into the transformation of you
Yes.
becoming who God is expecting you to become,
Get ready. Buckle up. Buckle up, because it's about to be a
it's about
wild
to be a
ride. Once
wild
you say
ride.
yes, you listen, you say yes to the ins, the outs, to the
Yeah,
ups.
the ups,
You
the
say
downs.
you
I'm
say
not
yes
sure. Oh
to
my God,
you
it's
say
all of
yes to what you are unsure about.
that. Yeah,
You
but
say yes to
no,
things. Oh,
but
it's
no,
for your benefit.
it's for your benefit.
At the end
It
of the
may be
day,
scary, but it's
but
for
it's
your
for your
benefit.
benefit. It is. At the end of
You
the day,
so
it's
I
for
want
you.
to end. I want to end on this note
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we went a little over, but I want to end on this note.
Yeah.
We talk a good game
Yeah.
about manifestation,
Ooh.
becoming who I'm a master manifester and yada yada yada, and
I'm authentically me.
I'm authentically me.
It takes some time.
Take some time.
And it takes time becoming authentically me, becoming me.
It's
To
not comfortable. If
it
you're able to
wasn't.
say it,
Ooh.
if you're able to say it,
Oh no. Yeah. And again, understand that transforming into you does not mean that it stops, right? I thought at one point,
It
great,
doesn't.
I had gotten over one thing,
Mm-mm.
not recognizing that
Continual,
becoming you is a continuous process
continual
to
process.
get to who you is, because we
Yeah.
go through phases in this thing called life.
Yes,
And
we do.
so you have to understand
Experiences.
that one phase won't be like, every other phase. And so it is going to be, again, like I said, it's a learning process. You might have people that were there with you when you started, and then
And
you start to
they're
see that
gone.
those people
Yeah.
transition out.
Yeah.
And again, that's even something I had to learn not to
We're
take
gonna
that
talk about that.
personal.
We're gonna
We
we're
are.
gonna talk. We're
Yeah.
gonna talk. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about that. But I want to say this
Yeah.
before we close out.
Mhm.
This channel again was created to teach, train, motivate, and
Mhm.
encourage
Mhm.
those on the journey of healing
Yes.
so that they can become
Yes.
what
Yeah.
God has always destined you to be and to
Yeah.
operate in your divine given
Purpose.
purpose.
Yes. Yes.
And I realized
Mhm.
that I knew my purpose.
Mhm.
I've known my daughter's purpose
Yeah.
for quite some
Yes.
time.
Yes.
But I realized that not
Mhm.
all people
No.
know their purpose
No.
or how to even get to
Yes.
their
Mhm.
purpose. All of that is up underneath the pain
Yes.
and the hurt
Yes.
and the trauma
Mhm.
of what we carry on a daily basis,
Yes.
what we've told ourselves and what we've
Mhm.
allowed others to tell
People
us.
selves. Yes.
And that's not who you are.
No.
That's
Mhm.
not who you are. That's not who God created you to be.
Absolutely.
You were created with something in your hand to do,
Absolutely.
not
Mhm.
just for yourself,
No.
but again, for
For
God's
others.
glory and
Yeah.
for others.
Others. You
And
are
if we are
not.
not operating
Yeah.
in that capacity, we are never,
No.
you will never get where
Yeah.
God has destined you to be. Oh, and by
Absolutely.
the way,
Yes.
you becoming
Yes.
authentically you
Unlocks other people.
unlocks other people. And it is the most bliss. I'm not going
Mhm.
to say it's without, I'm not going to ever tell you it's without um, frustration.
Oh no, that would be
I'm not going to tell you
no,
that sometimes it's the most joyous place for you to be.
no, it's not,
But once you work through whatever it is that you work through,
man.
I
You
tell you, you will never want to turn
no,
back.
and you unlock so much.
My God.
You unlock so much. I can tell you at this point in time in my life, I am amazed by some of the things that
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I didn't know I
Yes.
could do that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that that was something
Mm-hmm.
I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that
Mm-hmm.
that voice was inside of me.
Mm.
And
And that
so,
and
yeah.
that voice is the voice.
Mhm.
If you are a Christian, or if you call yourself a Christian, whatever it is you call yourself,
Yeah.
it's that Holy Spirit voice.
Yeah.
It's that God voice.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the voice that's leading you. Your second voice.
Mhm.
I always told my kids this. Your first thought is your God conscience.
Unconscious. Yes.
Your second thought is
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
You trying to convince yourself of what God just told you ain't right. Your first thought is your God
Yeah.
conscience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's that.
Listen to it.
Listen to it. It's
When it
that.
don't feel right,
It's right.
listen to it.
Listen to
It's
the
not
voice.
lying to you.
It's not lying to you. With
Mhm.
that said, it is 8:46.
Yeah.
Baby girl, we're gonna have to do a part two because
Yes.
there's so many things that we did not
Yeah.
talk about.
That's
But
okay. But I
there's so
look forward to coming back.
thank you.
My
There's
pleasure.
so many things that
Yes.
I want to share. Even
Mhm.
mother-daughter time,
Yes.
which I think is fascinating. We're gonna
Yes.
have to do another one so we can talk about some
Yes.
of the other topics
Yes.
that we talk
Yes.
about.
And to get my siblings on here too.
Yes, and to get, that's when we're gonna bring the other kids in. I'll bring my other girls in so that we can
Yes.
have mother daughter time and talk. And
Yes.
I don't know what I will call it, but I hope it will encourage other moms and daughters to get together and to have
Yes.
these conversations. If you're not,
Yes.
I'm honored to be able to be these kids as parents. As the the story is,
Yes.
you choose your parents.
Yes.
And I often have asked myself, why in the world would them kids choose? My God. But I'm honored that they would allow me to serve them, so that, you know, becoming also is about you. For me, it is leaving. As I get older, I recognize I'm not going to be here forever. I need to be able to leave legacy.
Yes.
And this is a way for me to do so.
Yes.
That us having conversation about your life and how
Yes.
life should be for you.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that I'm telling you how your life should be, but to give you
Yeah.
a guideline and a principle on operating in that space. That's important
Absolutely.
to me.
Yes.
I do not want to leave my children here blind. And I do want you to become who God has destined you to be.
Absolutely.
Because in that is the best living that you can ever experience.
Yes. Yes.
You gain no greater than being able to serve God, serve his people,
Yes.
so that he can say, if you're looking for him to say, well done,
Yeah.
my good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Baby girl, thank you. I love you.
Thank you. Love
We're
you too,
going to do
Mom.
this again.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.